So just breaking down those circles, the first one is appeal, and that's to customers, right? And the second one is value, and that's to owners. So if we bring that to the Cisco iPrize, if you're looking for $2 billion, right, a year, you better have a lot of appeal to a lot of customers, and that of course generates a lot of value to the company. And then in terms of realization, so appeal is driven by customer desires, value by owner desires, and then realization by your own internal capabilities, opportunities, and constraints, okay? So this is the doers. If we look at desires and break these down a little bit, we have desires that are completely incompatible. The easy case is customer wants everything for free and the company wants to charge as much as they can for it. We want to focus on those compatible desires, right? That place where we have the right quality, the right functions, the right feature, the right price, okay? So everything aligned. You see, that's alignment. That's our innovation target. Okay, not always. We're going to talk about in organizations how our whole way of structuring our innovation operation isn't really about this target. The Cisco iPrize is about this kind of innovation target, right? But often, that's not the way we're driving our innovation. Here, the realization needs to serve that goal. And often our realization, or isn't serving that goal, our realization is actually feeding in and asserting, you know, what innovation should be, what the innovation target should be. Our capabilities are constraining us too much. We also, you know, down here, so these are opportunities and capabilities that support that. These are opportunities and capabilities that don't support that innovation goal. And that's tricky. It's tempting, right? You have these great capabilities, somebody's really excited, they're an innovator, they want to do this pet project. If it's not serving that goal, we need to ignore it. This is also tricky. In many cases, there are opportunities and capabilities that we have that serve customer appeal, but don't provide any value to the company. And it's a really easy way to remember that line. That's the Web 2.0 line, right? Okay. We'll worry about monetization later. It's tremendously appealing. We have 10 million users per day, you know, per second, whatever your metric is, right? It's crazy. We'll worry about monetization later. And then there's this line, and that's why your CFO isn't your CMO, okay? This one is, you know, value to the company, but it doesn't have appeal to the consumers. It's really not going to go anywhere. The amazing thing is, and you've probably seen in your own experience, those can be enticing, right? Well, there's a whole industry, Web 2.0, chasing this line over here, right? Using that as a model and thinking that's valid. It's very dangerous. So we want to avoid those. Constraints. The last breakout of this model is the constraints, and this has really important implications. Breaking out unavoidable constraints. The way it is from avoidable constraints, which is the way it shouldn't be. And this is hard, because in most of our organizations, we tolerate a lot of the way it shouldn't be, but that's just the way it is. Well, no. The way it is the way it is. It's a regulation you can't change. The way the avoidable constraints are things like, you know, well, we can't do that in HR, okay? Or we can't do that in legal, or that's against our IT coding standards, or that doesn't fit with our Six Sigma practices, right? Okay? When you're driving your innovation this way, and you have that clear target in front of you, collectively, right? It's a good time to look at those things and say, okay, we understand when you're chasing operational mandates, right? When your mandate is reliability, stability, etc., we can go with a little bit of the, well, you know, the way it shouldn't be, but it is. But when we're chasing innovation prizes, and our mandates are competitive advantage, differentiation, we can't tolerate that. So what do we do with this now? I want to look at what to maximize, what to minimize, what to eliminate, and what to ignore. Right? And basically, we want to minimize, it didn't say eliminate, minimize the things that aren't compatible. Once again, we're clustering ideas. We can have a few innovations in here, that, you know, just thrown in here for appeal. We have to make sure that in net, we've maximized this point of coincidence, right? We can definitely throw in some. So throw in some for the user, throw in some for the company. Okay, so it's not all or nothing, because we're not talking about individual ideas. We're not talking about even individual innovations, I would say. It needs to be clusters. And maximize this, our capabilities and the opportunities that support that goal. And ignore these, and that's very difficult. Ignore the opportunities and capabilities we have that don't support that goal, regardless of how much somebody in our innovation organization wants to show off or run a pet project. And minimize those. The CFO is not the CMO line in the Web 2.0 line. And minimize or mitigate those, and that's a remarkable, the unavoidable constraints. That's a remarkable opportunity for additional innovation, right? And eliminate these, the avoidable constraints. And that is a hard line, right? It's the only place I'm saying eliminate. It's worth in your innovation process taking a hard line there, because that can really, innovation is risky. It's inherently risky. And that can add a phenomenal amount of unnecessary risk to the process. Okay. So we hadn't had any slides yet with a lot of reading, right? I tried to keep it mostly graphics tonight and really break it down. Don't read that one either. I'll send you all the slide deck. Those 7 questions are derived from the model. So as long as you remember the model, you have the 7 questions. What to maximize, what to minimize, what to eliminate, and what to ignore. It's a pretty simple set of questions. I've never, ever seen all 7 questions asked on an innovation initiative where I wasn't there going, hey, we got to answer these 7 questions. So it's rare. It's rare to have all 7 questions. Very, very